to Marine Alexander Lucas, who was in Helmand Province on Monday. Our thoughts should be with his family and his fiancée at this time. And I think we should also pay tribute to the incredibly brave Marine reported in today's papers who rugby tackled a suicide bomber and saved literally dozens of his colleagues from death. The bravery of our armed forces is something we can all be incredibly proud of. If the government doesn't have a secret plan to increase VAT, can the Prime Minister tell me why did the Treasury Minister put his signature to it?
Mr. Speaker, we looked at every option over the last few weeks, including options that were taken up by the last Conservative government, and we rejected the proposal to raise VAT in favour of a proposal to lower VAT. And let me tell the House why. We looked at the 1980-83 recession, and we found out that when the Conservatives rose VAT from 8 to 15%, hard-working families were hurt. We looked at the 1990s, and when the Conservatives raised VAT from 15 to 17.5%, hard-pressed families were hurt. And when he was advisor to the Treasury, they tried to raise VAT on fuel to 17.5%. So, Mr. Speaker, we looked at all options, as the Chancellor said. We rejected the option of raising VAT. We decided we would lower it, and I hope the Conservative Party will support us.
The Prime Minister cannot claim this is some madcap idea he immediately rejected. I've got the document right here. It is called, yes, the value-added tax. Give it back, he says. You can get it on the internet. There go the dinosaurs. It's called the Value-Added Tax Change of Rate Order 2008, and it says this: ministerial sign-off. I have read the impact assessment and I'm satisfied that it represents a fair and reasonable view of the expected costs, benefits and impact of the policy, signed by the responsible Minister, Stephen Timms, 24th of November. It's absolutely clear they are planning a VAT bombshell to hit every family in the country. Can I ask the Prime Minister this? And he should answer carefully. We may carry out some freedom of information requests. Was there a plan to raise VAT even further than 18.5%?
Mr. Speaker, I've said to the House we considered all options, but we rejected options. And I tell the House why we rejected the options. We rejected it because, as the Chancellor said on Monday, we chose the options that were fairest to ordinary and hard-working families. Now, the question is, do the Conservatives now support cutting VAT from 17.5%, or are they simply the do-nothing party that would not help people in times of real need?
So there we have it from the Prime Minister. This plan was considered, even higher VAT. And the Prime Minister asked what we would do. I'll tell him, we'd freeze the council tax by cutting wasteful spending. We'd cut small businesses' VAT bills by $10 billion by allowing them to delay payments. We'd make sure that the loans got out of the banks by giving government insurance to those loans to get small business working again. Instead of sitting in Downing Street making up nonsense about the opposition plans, why doesn't he do something useful? Now, everybody knows that Labour are putting up taxes because there's a black hole at the heart of the public finances. Let me turn to why this black hole is so big. Will the Prime Minister confirm that his plans will double the national debt?
Mr. Speaker, first of all, on the national debt, even after the difficulties that we go through, will be lower as a percentage of national income than France and Germany and Italy and Japan and almost certainly America. And the message that the Leader of the Opposition is trying to communicate, is you can actually do something without spending any money. And the truth is, his policy ends up doing absolutely nothing to give real help to families and businesses now. If he has a proposal, it means he would have to spend to meet it. The fact is they would do nothing in the end, and they would leave the families of Britain without real help and support. And we are not going to take the do-nothing road of the 80s and the 90s. We are going to give real help to families and businesses now.
But there is absolutely nothing stimulating about what the Prime Minister is proposing. What he's proposing is to borrow a huge amount of money to cut prices marginally when they're already falling and to hit every family with a tax bombshell in 2 years' time. What is so stimulating about that? I don't know where the Prime Minister goes shopping, but the shops are discounting by 20%, by 30% already. Let me go back to the question of the national debt. Let me read him the figures. Page 198 of the pre-budget report says that last year the national debt was £527 billion. In 5 years' time, it will be £1.1 trillion. It is a simple question. Let me repeat it. Does he admit his plans will double the national debt?
Mr. Speaker, we've published the figures and they make it absolutely clear that national debt in Britain will rise to 58%. It happens to be at the moment 58% in France and Germany. It will rise there. It is over 100% in Japan. It is 90% in Italy. It is going to rise to 70% or more in America. The question is, when you are faced with unique and unprecedented circumstances, do you take the action that is necessary? We will give real help to real families and businesses now. Now, the Conservative answer is let the recession take its course. I have talked to leaders in every part of the world, and nobody is saying to me, as the Conservative health spokesman said, the one person who's been guaranteed a job in the cabinet, if there ever was one of the leader of the opposition, they had what the health spokesman said: recession can be good for us. Now, I have met nobody in the rest of the world who says that recession can be good for us, and he should apologise for these statements.
The difference between my honourable friend and the Prime Minister is he has apologised. The Prime Minister has never apologised for saying... He hasn't apologised for saying it end boom and bust. Absolutely. Now, the Prime Minister just quoted a very interesting figure. He said that the ratio of debt to GDP is going to reach 58%. Will he confirm that is exactly the same percentage it reached when Dennis Healey went to the IMF because the country was bust?
Mr. Speaker, he doesn't seem to understand that round the world... Well, I'm sorry I have to give him an economic lecture every week, because he doesn't seem to understand all round the world. France and Germany, debt in the late 50s. Japan, 95. Italy, 100. America rising very fast. This is what has to be done in a period when there's a downturn. The fact that he even asked this question now suggests he wants to do absolutely nothing. I have talked to every major country in the last few weeks, and no leader is telling me the recession should take its course. Only the Conservative Party is saying that.
The fact is that this Prime Minister has given us the debt levels of Italy and the accounting practices of Enron. He talks about wandering around the world. I bet he cannot find a single major country that is planning to raise taxes year after year after year because he's made such a mess of the public finances. Isn't the truth about the PBR this? It's not a response to the economic crisis. It's a consequence of a decade of his economic mismanagement. It's not about helping the country's economic situation. It's about trying to help his political situation. It's not about being straight with people. It's about concealing a tax bombshell that will hit every family in the country. Isn't the real lesson from this PBR this? The country is going bankrupt, he's been found out, and New Labour's dead.
The real lesson of this pre-budget report is that we are giving real help to families and businesses now. The Conservatives would refuse to give real help to families and businesses. We are cutting VAT, we are increasing the cash flow to small businesses, we are raising the pension from January, child benefit from January. We are doing everything that the Conservative Party opposed and everything that they would have done if they were in charge in a recession. They offer no help to hard-pressed families. They have abandoned compassion in Conservatives. They are no longer a credible opposition. He is the do-nothing leader of a do-nothing party.